Riff and Russ.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Riff and Russ. We're here. I'm clapping again.
You always have to clap for yourself. If no one else will, we have to clap for ourselves. So
that's it.
Yeah. What are we talking about today, Russ?
Well, we're talking about some core games you need to have in your collection for the NES, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I'd say these are like must-have games to where if you were starting over or you were given someone like, I've never played these consoles, what do I got to own? It's like, bro, if you don't own these,
right,
you're going to be whack. Well, at least in our opinion, because I'm sure we're going to have different opinions.
Right, we each made our own list, and I don't know what Riff wrote, so I'm sure we're going to have some overlap. I'm sure we'll choose the same on some of them, but...
Okay, well, why don't you fire us off? Are we starting with the NES, the Super Nintendo, or the Genesis?
I guess we'll just start with NES.
Okay, start the oldest.
Super Mario 1, 2, and 3. We'll just get that out of the way.
It's like you might as well get that away because that's going to be the common theme through even on the Super Nintendo. It's like, I wonder if we're going to put Super Mario World in there. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, these are classic games and they're cheap. They're not super expensive, so you might as well pick these up if you're starting a collection. I maybe get Super Mario / Duck Hunt because Duck Hunt's pretty fun.
Duck Hunt is pretty fun. It is.
You do need a CRT TV though to use your zapper.
Well, what are you doing not playing on a CRT TV anyway if you're a retro gamer? Come on, let's be real.
Go to Goodwill, pick one up.
There, you can find them cheap there still. So.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me start one of mine. And I tried to go with some that I think are essentials in my book, but aren't. There are going to be some popular ones, but also some ones that aren't like super popular, I'd say.
Right.
One that I put on there would be Little Nemo Dream Master.
Ooh, good one. Yeah. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it's a Capcom game, and it's just a really cute little fun side-scrolling platformer, but I feel like there's so many fun elements to the game because in the game you play as a little character, Little Nemo, but in order to progress through the levels, you have to feed these different animals and characters candy, and when you give them candy, you can ride them or turn into them, use their powers. So I feel like the game definitely has a lot more going for it than a lot of the big popular, platformers or side scrollers. If you would have thrown that into Mario's Dream Master, people would be like, dude, that was one of the best NES games. But I feel like it just doesn't get as much love just because it's not
kind of flies under the radar where they're like, what's Little Nemo? I don't know.
Yeah, totally worth it.
I'm going to go with one of my favorites.
Okay.
Batman on the NES.
Ooh, and straight up Batman.
Yeah, the regular one.
Such a good soundtrack, dude.
Right, the soundtrack is epic. It can be a hard game. I've only beaten it one time, but I played it constantly growing up. Playing the first couple levels are great, and they said the soundtrack really gets you pumped up to play.
Is it a Sunsoft game?
Yeah, Sunsoft.
That's why the soundtrack's amazing. Sunsoft has such good tracks on the NES. Okay, for me, I'm going to keep going. We're going to keep moving, by the way, because we have so many and we don't like to record for more than like 40 minutes or so. But for me, I'm going to go Super Dodgeball. You ever play that one?
Yes, that's a great one.
I love that video game. I'm not a big sports guy, but for me, it finds that fine balance of being like a sports game, but also being a game where there's power-ups and it has a little bit of that arcade silliness to where you can knock characters out through the screen and have super crazy powers, and you get a whole bunch of different characters. Each character has its own separate, unique skill set, and there's so many characters.
Right, and they all stand out with unique looks to them, and even around the country where you're going, they look a little bit different, and you get to travel the world playing that game. Just like I didn't play too many sports growing up, but playing these NES sports games, I had a lot of fun, where it's not kind of based on reality, it's more a little bit out there. It said you're throwing like super fast dodgeballs where the ball warps and hits the player and they fly across the screen. It's so fun.
You got to pick Sam. If you pick the USA All-Stars team, you always got to pick Sam. He's got the piece of slice throwing power, and it blows through everybody.
Nice.
So all right, go ahead, sir.
I'll stick with the sports theme, and you definitely got to own this one, Blades of Steel.
I am so with you. Yes, Russ.
That's definitely a fun hockey game. And it does tend to, lead more towards, I guess, like reality based on like Super Dodgeball. But it has such cool graphics in it, and especially like when you're fighting with a player and it does like a cutscene and you're like duking it out, and that's so cool.
That game had great too, like voice samplings all throughout the game, from Blades of Steel to when you're get the puck and all the different things it said. Yeah, I love it. I think that's a fantastic game. And for being a sports game, it doesn't feel too like sports. If it's like you said, it's not really arcadey, but it does feel like it has a little bit more of that less serious sports tone to it.
Right.
So, yeah. Good one right here. I don't know if you ever played this. Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu.
Oh, I did do a live stream of that. Someone suggested it, and I played it maybe last year. Someone suggested it, and it's a fun beat 'em up, platformer style game.
Yeah, it's a beat 'em up platformer style game. It's pretty expensive now, so if you have to emulate it, may the gods be with you. That's okay. But it is a fantastic little side-scrolling platforming beat 'em up style game, as Russ said. Fun graphics, big sprites, big characters. Jackie Chan is a big sprite. Pretty easy game, not too hard. Love the music on it. It's very like adventurous feeling music, but also kind of cute at the same time. Mm-hmm. Ricky and I discovered it maybe like 5-6 years ago, and we fell in love with the game. I actually beat it again too, like maybe 6 months ago. So really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah, a must have in my opinion, even though it's expensive. I'm sorry.
Right. Sorry about that, guys. You gotta say that. Probably a higher price game now. I bought mine many years ago, but Bucky O'Hare.
Yes, dude. Absolutely.
That one is definitely fun. Adventure platformer game, and you get to play as different characters from the Bucky O'Hare series, so that's really fun to switch between them.
Yeah, and one of Konami's best soundtracks.
Right. Again, with the soundtrack is fantastic.
It's very pumping sounding. It keeps, and all the different soundtracks are called like the Red Planet, the Yellow Planet, the Green Planet, but they just have a like bop, 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 bop sound that makes you want to be like, I'm going to be, because it's pretty hard.
Right. You start off easy because you do have to rescue your crew before you can play as them. And
you earn them.
You get all of them, and then, okay, now we're going on our adventure, and you have to pick like which character is better for this world that I'm in. So trial and error, but definitely a fun one.
Totally. Okay, I'm going to go with something a little different. I'm not a big racing guy, but if I was a racing guy, this is the game I would pick or recommend to you. But for me, it'd be RC Pro-Am.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You got little race cars, so it's not full on like Daytona 500 or whatever. You're like, it's kind of cutesy. You're going around your track.
And there's a battle aspect to it. You know, there's oil on the floor where you can spin. You can knock people in and their car breaks.
You get rockets.
Yeah, you can get rockets or bullets, whatever, and shoot the other cars. That's awesome. As a kid, I mean, my first experience with like a battle felt more like Mario Kart style, you know? So with this on RC Pro-Am back in the day, it was almost like I never really played something like that, even though I know other things like that existed.
Right.
But for me, with the isometric view and the way it plays, it handles well enough for me towards a non-racing guy. I feel like I'm getting done what I want to be done in the game, which isn't normal for me in racing games.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Russ?
All right, we got a heavy hitter. Of course, you got to have Castlevania.
Yeah, the first one, part one?
I'm choosing one. I mean, you can buy all three. One and three play similar. And we already talked about how I feel about Simon's Quest on last episode. But just get the first one. It's a classic arcade feel, and it's a great game overall. Definitely.
It's very straightforward, too, as far as playing. You know what I mean?
Right. It's, I said moving left to right and fight a boss, and then it reverses. You're moving right to left.
Yep. All right, this next one might be, for me, a personal taste. I didn't even really know a lot of people didn't like this game until much later on in my life, but Skate or Die.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely growing up, like, in the 80s, skateboarding was big, and
that's what I was going to say.
You're like, okay, if I'm not great at skateboarding in real life, maybe I can play the video game and get some enjoyment out of it, or maybe learn the lingo a little bit.
Yeah, the lingo. I always loved it in this game too. When you have games like Tony Hawk games or the skate games, it's skateboarding, and there is arcade aspects to it, of course. But I love how in Skate or Die, there's so many different modes. It's like you're not just a guy skating this or doing this. You're doing half pipes, you're doing joust, you're doing bowls, you're doing
downhill challenge,
downhill challenges, you're doing jams. And I'm like, that's really cool because it gives people the idea that skateboarding, yes, there is games like Skate, which are more realistic, but it also can be fun. There's a lot of activity style stuff you can do while riding a skateboard. So I freaking love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a good time. I would recommend maybe getting a turbo controller, especially for the high jump, because I was jamming on that button. I can never get up there.
Yep. Hey, man, skating ain't easy in real life, so it's got to be hard on the game.
That's right. Well, moving along, another fantastic two-player game coming up here is Contra.
Yes, I didn't even put that on mine. What was I thinking?
Missed Contra. The Konami code, get you 30 guys, grab a friend, and shoot some aliens.
And I would say on that line, Super C is just as great in my opinion. Maybe even better in my personal opinion, but...
Right. I never played it as much as Contra, so I'm not as great at that one, but similar concept.
Yeah. Speaking of multiplayer, I'll just go with one while we're at it. I'll go with either River City Ransom or Chippendale Rescue Rangers for my multiplayer choice, I would say.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If you want something a little more long-lasting with your friends, go with River City Ransom because there's RPG elements, upgrades, exploring, whatnot. Chippendale Rescue Rangers is more just like pick up and play, have fun, goof around. So either one of those two, for multiplayer for me, I think are top-tier choices. And Chippendales isn't very expensive. River City Ransom's a little more up there, but not
a little
super
bit
high.
higher. Yeah. I'll add on to that with great two-player co-op, Jackal.
Oh, that's a great game. I haven't played that in a long time either.
Yep. And it's like top-down view, and you're going around rescuing POWs, and you get grenades and upgrade to missiles. The soundtrack, again, is fantastic, gets you pumped up, and I just love going through that game. And again, it's pretty cheap to own. So you could definitely pick that one up and have a good time with a friend or by yourself.
I didn't have this one on my list, but you said the word POW, and I actually really like the game POW on Nintendo.
Oh, right. POW is a game
SNK video game. Yeah, it's an SNK video game. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but I think it's a really good game for being... I think it's a very cheap game, too, right now.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that game holds much value when it comes to that. But another pick I did have, what I was going to say, is MC Kids.
Oh, that's on my list, too.
Is it? Wow. Okay, I don't feel like a lot of people would pick that game. It's a great game. And
it is.
And I know the comparison's been made of like a Mario 3 feel. But yeah, again, it's one of those platformers where, again, we've said it before, if you swap the palettes with a Mario, people would have been praising the game of the yin yang.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and it shouldn't be like hate it because it took a good formula and style and used it towards its advantage.
Absolutely.
It plays similar to Mario 3. It's got great music and two-player action. And, it has unique because it has the McDonald's property attached to it. So you see, Ronald McDonald in there and the other characters.
Yeah, it's great.
It definitely has got to get more love.
It needs more love. One that doesn't need more love, but it still is great. Also, there's a random lady talking right here on my TV. But okay, would be, and I'd say any of 1, 2, or 3 for me personally.
Okay.
The Mega Man games. That's
right.
The obvious
I
choice.
had just put Mega Man 2. But yeah, I mean 1, 2, or 3. 3, you get the slide. So
I like 3 the best in my personal opinion. But yeah, they're great.
2 is probably up there with most people, but 3 definitely is good.
I have a lot of love for 1 too as well, which not a lot of people do. But I grew up playing that one a lot, so I never never had the YouTube influence of it not being as good.
Right. 1 stands out because it's formatted a little bit different, and they had like a score. They kind of know where they're going with the game, and then 2 on almost is very similar.
Totally. What else you got, Russ? I'm all out of NES picks. Well, obviously we have more, but I mean,
I have a few more here. We can
let's hear it.
The Metroid series, the original Metroid.
Yeah. Which I'm not super, as we talked about in the last one again.
Right.
Not super into the first one, but still a good game.
It's a little hard to go back to now without the map system and saves. You can play it on the Switch online. Well, not online, but like if you have Switch, the service, and you can make use of like save states that way, so it's a little bit easier way to play.
Yes, sir.
And then another one you don't like, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!
Listen, I don't hate the game. I just don't love the game like everybody else does.
Right.
But I would say that is definitely one of the heavy hitter, no pun intended, games on the Nintendo for sure. It's like one of the most...
Right. And you could always just get regular Punch-Out to save a few bucks. You just want
to save a few bucks.
Mike Tyson at the end.
You don't want to get your ear bitten off.
Let's see. Other ones I have... Again, Tetris is a classic puzzle game. If you're into puzzles, that's a classic.
Again, not my favorite.
Not your favorite. I added this one, Star Tropics.
Oh, that's a great game.
So if you like the Zelda, Zelda obviously is on the list.
Yes.
But you don't have to, of course, put it in your collection. Yeah. But very similar to Zelda is Star Tropics, where you play in that open world aspect as Mike with a yo-yo.
With a yo-yo.
Island. Actually, if you guys are listening now, I should be live streaming tonight the rest of Star Tropics. I'm trying to finish it up.
Wow.
So I figured it's a fun summer game. You're on an island, beach island, makes me think of summer.
Yep.
Why not?
Winter, summer, winter, summer.
Yeah. And that closes it out for NES for me.
There's our NES picks for now of must-haves, gotta own, should own, all the above. Some are a little obvious, some are not so. But now, it's time to go into the now you're playing with superpower.
16-bit action.
I'm just going to start us off with this 16-bit shenanigan.
There we go.
With a game, again, that I've always loved, and a lot of people in the future that I talk to are like, that we never really liked that version. But Star Fox. I love Star Fox in the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, space game, you're flying around. If you didn't enjoy the Star Wars series on there and you're like, I want something space, you go with Star Fox.
Yeah.
And it had so many good voice samples in there. Do a barrel roll.
Yeah. Well, that's the 64 version, but yes.
Oh,
still,
that's true.
The Super Nintendo, but you know what? The Super Nintendo one, me and Ricky probably quote even more, which is just noises. It's like,
oh, that's true. Yeah.
I'm like, we love that, dude. But I love the Super Nintendo version of Star Fox.
They pitch shifted down. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. So, what about you?
I got ActRaiser.
Ooh, fantastic. A little bit of platforming, side-scrolling, a little bit of RPG, all the above, God Sim.
That's it. Yeah, you're building, little villages as like a god figure and, exercising the demons in the land.
Yeah.
It plays a lot different than the second one. A lot of people complained about that because they kind of want it more of the same. So, stick with the first one. You get a little bit of that best of both worlds.
Totally. I like that video game. I've always loved the cover art and style of that too.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. Very majestic looking.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. For me, I think a really important one to own that I really loved when I was a kid, and I still do. I played it maybe 2 weeks ago to see if I still held my love, and Cool Spot on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay. I haven't played that one that much.
It's a platformer side scroller. The graphics are like that pre-rendered 3D graphic style side scrolling graphic, and I just love the game, especially for being, an obvious promotion of 7-Up. I mean, that's the whole video game. But I think it's one of the better games out there, and I've always loved it. My cousins, I used to play with them, and every single one of us agreed that it was just such a fun game. I know Gerard from The Completionist loved the games as well. Me and him talk about that game all the time.
Excellent.
The NES version sucked. But yes.
Oh, okay. But the Super Nintendo... We'll give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. What was the thing? Russ's thumb? I don't know. Russ's thumb of doom? I don't know what we were doing last time. Something.
All right, my next pick, of course, I chose Batman for NES. Batman Returns on Super Nintendo.
Yes. I almost put that on there.
Oh, I mean, it follows the movie pretty much exactly.
Yeah.
You're starting off at the lighting of the tree with the clowns all coming, and it's a fun beat 'em up style game. And yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
I always loved that you could grab the bad guys and throw them at the wall behind you. And the music.
Or they hit the windows.
Yeah, and the music's so somber. And it feels like Gotham. It feels like you're in Gotham, that music. Yeah. I absolutely killed it with that game. Was that Capcom? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I can't remember either. I totally know I'm going to feel stupid. Someone's going to say in the comments, make us feel dumb. Again, didn't like Punch-Out. Love Super Punch-Out on the Super Nintendo. Love, I could gush about this game for hours. The music, the characters, the style of gameplay. If you didn't like the original Punch-Out, like me, and you just thought it was whatever, you don't let that play into what you might think about Super Punch-Out. Fantastic, beautiful game. A pretty big staple in the world of Super Nintendo video games. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I would say so.
Yeah.
Moving on to another fantastic classic, whether you want to pick up all three or just one, Donkey Kong Country.
Yes. What's your pick, Russ? If you had to pick only one.
I mean, it's got to be the first one. I played that one the most. I didn't put that much time into the others, so.
Most people say 2 is the best.
Really? Okay.
That's what most people say. I'm more on your side, though. I would rather play Donkey Kong Country just because I hold more merit nostalgically to it.
Like, I got the VHS tape in the mail. That was the promotional, getting you pumped for it.
Me too. Mine's back there somewhere. I can't point to it from here. It's somewhere right there. It's down there, so yeah.
So I was super stoked to play it. And definitely.
Such best music on that game. Aquatic Ambience. Would it be Aquatic Ambience the best one on that game?
They have YouTube videos of that just looping for 8 hours.
Dude, that's how That's how Ricky would put his daughters to bed every night. He would put on the loop of that.
Wow. See, there you go.
Yeah, it's crazy. Big one for me, possibly one of my, I'd say definitely top 10 games of all time, Contra 3, The Alien Wars.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That game is, I mean, it's like Contra was so good on the Nintendo, and it just did every single aspect of the game just better.
Right. Yeah, they added some new, like the new top-down mode 7 when you're looking down and going through. And it's like, okay, this keeps it fresh. The bosses are bigger, badder.
And scarier.
Right.
Yeah, they set like a whole theme. Like it actually feels like when the bosses come and that mechanized boss. I think on level 4, he pulls his head.
Right.
And I'm like, I love it, man. So that was a pretty good. That was a pretty good reenactment. Come on, let's be real. Go ahead, Russ.
All right, I'm gonna jump on to a RPG game. You gotta have some RPGs. I know a lot of people mention a few, but one that holds dear in my heart, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, man. Musically, oh,
so great.
Yeah.
The characters, I love it. Gameplay, and it has alternate endings. You can have like 7, 8 different endings depending when you go fight the last boss.
Yep.
So it has so much replay value.
Yep.
Just fantastic.
Anytime me and my brother are talking music, we always talk music and video games. He always somewhere in our conversation sends me something from Chrono Trigger. Always.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh, check out this composition of this or this version of this violin cover. And I'm like, oh, it's just so beautiful.
Well, I had followed a guy, a musician, Eric Ladd is his name, and he does a full soundtrack of I
still watch his new videos.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, he's still putting out new videos. So, Retro Game Remix, that's his name on YouTube. So he's awesome. Going with RPGs, I might as well toss out one of my favorite RPGs. Not that big of an RPG guy. The two obvious would be Link to the Past, one of my favorite games of all time. But I definitely want to give an extra shout out, as always, to Mario RPG.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I hold that as responsible for me even liking RPGs.
That's what I figure, like, most people would start their, like, with their tongue for RPGs. Like, all right, it's Mario, but RPG, so I can kind of jump on board with that and see what it's about.
Yep, I think that is the best interpretation of not making you feel like you have to grind too hard. It doesn't go too deep into that RPG feel where it's completely out of whack. There's synchronization with the timed attack, so you feel like you're not just pressing attack and letting it go. You kind of got to time things with it, and I like that aspect of the game. I love it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The music, again, oh boy. That's my
so many good soundtracks.
My nostalgia swing right there.
All right, I'm gonna jump on with a fighter.
Okay.
Killer Instinct.
That's on my list, and I had Street Fighter, and I crossed it out and put. Everyone knows Street Fighter. Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah, I loved it in the arcade. Oh, either Fulgor or Orchid.
Ooh, Orchid's mine.
Yeah, I just love the little like form she goes into the panther.
Yeah, man.
Lion.
Oh yeah, yeah. Orchid's great. Jago's great. Glacier. Cinder, I mean, Saberwolf, Riptor, all these characters, the whole Killer Instinct series as it goes on. I just love the characters, man. I'd say that's the fighting game I'm probably the best at.
Yeah. I'm a little bit rusty because I haven't played it as much recently. But when that came out, I was like so pumped because I enjoyed it so much in the arcade. Seeing the kids play it, and I was like, I could bring it home now. And I remember getting the book that has all the moves.
Yeah.
Do I have it?
And it plays well. I think that's what's so important too. Is a lot of times games like these, like for me, again, my problem with Mortal Kombat is I don't feel like it plays well. Even though I know a lot of people love Mortal Kombat, I can't get into the gameplay of it. With Killer Instinct, though, I'm like, boom, this feels good. It feels right. And I would say on the Super Nintendo, I'd rather play Killer Instinct than Street Fighter. Personal opinion.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. What's my next pick? Oh, so you took my Killer Instinct? Okay. Big one for me. If you're gonna go with a beat 'em up on the console, I almost went with Final Fight because I hold so much love towards it. But I would say Knights of the Round is such a great.
Oh, okay. That more of an expensive game now?
It is now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a Capcom game. It's obviously a knight type game, almost like a Golden Axe style game, but in my opinion, definitely better than Golden Axe. Just being honest, it's just epic. You know, you have big beefy characters as you would expect, but everything again being Capcom, being 16-bit, everything plays well, performs well. The music is majestic. It's beautiful. It sounds like what you'd expect in a knight's lore type game. So
right, and there wasn't.
Stellar.
I don't think there was any other like games that had that time period. I want to say.
I think there was one. I can't remember I always forget the other name. There's Knights of the Round, and there's one more, and King of Dragons, maybe? No, not King of Dragons. I can't. There's one more beat 'em up that's like that. That's also very good, and I always forget the name. And someone's gonna tell us in the comments, and I'm gonna feel stupid. I know. I should remember, but yeah.
Super Metroid.
Yes, dude. Super Metroid is again NES Complex. I've said it before. He says it's the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, soundtrack, storytelling wise, atmosphere, gameplay.
There's a huge Speed World community too for that game.
Oh yeah, every time they do games done quick, it's like a huge turnout for Super Metroid.
Yeah,
they always raise a ton of money for that.
Yep.
So growing up, this is before obviously the internet. I was so excited that I found out you can take your VCR, hook it up to your Super Nintendo, and you can record yourself playing. And I recorded myself playing Super Metroid from start to finish because I was getting used to playing it. I'm pretty sure I still have the tape.
That's cool.
It's only of the gameplay, wasn't me playing, because that'd be cool to see me young playing it. But I know that I'm playing the game, so it'd be neat to watch back then. This was way before I seen a Let's Play video or anything like that. So it's like, whoa, you can record yourself playing video games?
I think AVGN has a footage of him as a kid doing that type of stuff. I know My Retro Life, obviously Tyler does as well. So that's, I wish I had that. I literally used to have tons of pictures of me with the video games and stuff, but literally our house caught on fire, our garage, and burnt every one of our pictures.
Oh, so terrible.
I got nothing. So yeah.
Just the memories.
Yep. My only last one I had is the obvious one, so I don't even need to say it, but if we don't say the words Super Mario World, we're doing a disservice to the world. So
you can either get Super Mario World or you can get
the
Mario All-Stars with Super Mario World.
True. That's true. But something so pure about that original Super Mario World just by itself. Ooh, Mario Paint. There's a zinger. I love Mario Paint.
That's a fun one too. Yeah. Really fun. A little interactive game.
Totally.
Musical.
Creative life, man.
I got a few more on my list here.
Let's hear it.
F-Zero.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Racing game. You would have to bundle also Mario Kart. You get your two racing games for the system.
True. Which one's better?
Ooh. Maybe F-Zero.
As a kid, I probably would have said Mario Kart, but I think as an adult, I'd probably say F-Zero.
I've tried to play Mario Kart on Super Nintendo recently, and it's a little bit harder on the Super Nintendo. I think I would prefer the later system ones.
Russ, you're probably saying what I think in my head. I played it and I'm like, dang, this kind of sucks. No, it was really good, and it is a good game. But
that could have been on last week's episode.
Yeah, I played it though, man. I'm telling you, I played it recently too, and I was like, I'm so bad at this, I'm not enjoying it. But
wow, okay,
could have just been whatever.
And then one last one was one that I definitely played a ton growing up, Earthworm Jim.
See, I'm an Earthworm Jim hater.
Yeah.
But it is cool. Like I said, I respect the genre of what it is, the wild, the weird,
right? That just 90s,
totally
out there.
It's like Toe Jam and Earl. I hate the game, but I love the idea of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I know Gary will be happy that it made
Gary. Yeah. Now are we going to the blast processing machine?
Well, I'll jump into Twitter real quick.
Okay, Twitter. What you got?
I tweeted out to you guys to see what some core games were.
Let's see what they say.
Square Pegs. Taking Sonic, Mario, Zelda, and Metroid out of the equation. He says for NES, Mega Man 2, Castlevania 3, and DuckTales.
Agreed with all.
And then he's got Super Nintendo, Earthbound.
Ooh, agreed. Retro Rick's favorite game.
RPG there. A little bit pricey, but...
a little bit, yeah.
Super Street Fighter 2.
Great.
And then Final Fantasy 3.
Great game, not for me. My brothers love that.
If you're going to have one of the RPGs.
Yep. I had fun watching them play.
And then he mentions on Genesis, Toe Jam and Earl. NBA Jam Tournament Edition. And Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have that on my list. Thanks for taking it.
So, Gary did respond with Earthworm Jim, and Earthworm Jim.
Oh, I've heard of that game.
Let's see. That's all I got right now from Twitter because I tweeted only about 40 minutes ago. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow, how'd you get them? We just decided on this 2 minutes ago. Well, I'll jump in while you're bouncing around. Sega Genesis, I'm going to start off with Shinobi 3.
Oh, okay.
I love the Shinobi games. I even love them, yes, on the Sega Master System and the Nintendo Tengen version that people mock. But I love them, and again, just like jumping into the 8-bit to the 16-bit world, some games just make a masterpiece out of these games going from the 8-bit to 16-bit jump.
Right.
And Shinobi 3 is absolutely fantastic. I love it. If you don't like the original Shinobis, again, don't let that play into your fears, because this is absolutely good.
Nice. Yeah, great one for sure. I'm going to add Maximum Carnage.
I haven't played that in so long. I can't remember about it.
Beat 'em up style game. You're playing in the Spider-Man universe, essentially.
Yep.
And you can play as, I believe, Venom
Morales.
or... I'm trying to think. I think you play as the bad guy. You
play
as Carnage.
Carnage. If I remember correctly, I just remember seeing a lot of red in the game.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's because the cart was red. It was either that was red as a cart, or because I believe it came out on Super Nintendo as well.
Yes.
So
I think so.
Doom was also a red cart, so you'd almost be like, which one is it if it's flipped over?
Yeah.
Is it Maximum Carnage?
Easy sales tactics for kids right there, man. You see the colorful carts in your end,
Right. You're like, what is that one? I want that one.
A big one for me that I didn't discover until later in life, Alicia Dragoon.
Oh, okay. That's more RPG, right?
No, it's a side-scrolling platformer.
Oh, so yeah, I never played that one.
Did you see Pat the NES Punk's video on it?
I believe so. He had some girl on there.
You're smirking, so you've seen it. Apparently, when I saw this video, I had no idea as a younger man, 10 years ago. Apparently, this girl was like some porn star or something. I was like, what? I found that out later. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But the game, sadly enough, I almost feel like that game was overshadowed by his review. It was a big review, did good numbers. But I think what was in it, the girl being a part of it, almost shadowed how good the game actually really is.
Maybe more people were focusing on the story of what he was filming, rather than here's the cool game and check out the gameplay.
And normally in a show, people do funny skits before videos. A lot of your reviewers do that, but a lot of times it's quick, it's quirky, it's just like a little side off. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the whole, let's just say what was going on screen, grabbed the attention of the game. Right. It's like, oh, what's this?
Maybe if Metal Jesus reviewed it, it would have gotten.
It'd get a little more love.
Yeah. I put on my list. Probably not a lot of people are going to choose this one, but I like Chuck Rock.
I like Chuck Rock. I do like Chuck Rock. It's stiff, but I like it.
It's, it takes place in the prehistoric time. It's like a platformer.
Like Joe and Mac.
Yeah, like similar to Joe and Mac. Moves a little slower, but I had a good time with it.
I like the sprite of him, too. He's really, like you said, that 90s, like, cartoon goof feel. You know?
If you're going to get either, Toe Jam and Earl, maybe you just might as well check out Chuck Rock as well.
Totally. I agree with you. I think one that most people would agree with me, Comic Zone.
Oh, okay. I haven't played that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So Comic Zone is a side-scrolling beat-em-up platformer, as a lot of these are. But you go through a virtual comic book to go to the next screen, instead of just walking to the next screen, like you'll grab the edge of the paper and like whoosh, and like swing across it into the next page and like jump down to the next page. It's very interactive in that way. It's done right. It's really hard. I beat it on a Xbox emulator maybe 4 months ago. Really hard game, but visually stunning and very good storytelling in this type of game. So.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to check that one out for sure.
You shall.
To add to the 90s quirky games, Decap Attack.
So cool, man. I love that. Does that game go up in price?
It probably has. I don't know. I bought my copy years ago. And just really enjoyed playing it. You play as this like mummy guy who can throw his head. Essentially. Decap. And you attack with it.
Yeah, your goal isn't to decapitate people. You are decapitated already, and you're just throwing your head around.
Right. Yeah, and it's super fun. You run around the stage, and it has little like a treasure or something you have to find to progress to the next level. So it really gives you that chance to explore everything. Super fun, and if you like that, horror style, I guess, or whatever. Pretty fun, yeah.
It's a beautiful game. For me, I think, very unpopular opinion here, I like, in recent years, I'd say in the last 7 years or so, I started to like, my next choice, Hyperstone Heist more than Turtles in Time. I know that's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, Hyperstone Heist is on my list, yeah.
They're both great games. Let's be very clear about that. But I just started to really like Hyperstone Heist lately, maybe because I grew up playing so much of Turtles in Time that my brain was like ready for something new. But I love it. Again, very similar to the Super Nintendo version, some different levels and gameplay and sound effects and style of music, but a very fun game if you haven't checked it out.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say like Sega's definitely it has a lot of great beat 'em up style games on there. So I added to the list Battletoads Double Dragon.
Love that game.
So it gets two franchises, smash them together, and you can play as either Battletoad or Billy or Jimmy.
Bimmy and Jimmy.
Bimmy and Jimmy.
Two series I love. Well, why don't you give us another one? Because I know that one kind of jumped into.
Keeping with the beat 'em ups, I added Captain America and the Avengers.
Oh, I do love that, and there's some cool voice samplings I think too in that one. I do like that game a lot.
I played the version in the arcade, so to get it on Sega Genesis, and you can play as Captain America, Iron Man,
so cool,
Vision flying around, very cool.
That's right. You could play as Vision. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's all white. The white Vision.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot about that completely. A big one for me, which I didn't mention on Super Nintendo, Ghouls and Ghosts on the Sega Genesis.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Very good. I love the Sega twang on this one. A lot of those Sega games, that Sega twang can hurt my ears. But I feel like on this game, Ghouls and Ghosts, I really appreciated it. Very much appreciated the sprite work on the game. And I just think it's a fantastic game. Hard too, but in my opinion, not as hard as the Nintendo version.
Right. Oh, yeah. You could definitely get a little bit further in either the Sega or the Super Nintendo version rather than the original.
It was brutal, yeah.
Mortal Kombat is on my list.
Uh-oh.
I figured I'd choose it on Sega Genesis because you get the blood.
And it does, it fits better. If I had to play Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo or Sega, I'm absolutely going with Sega.
And I would get a 6-button controller, just so it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, any fighting game. What'd you have to do on the 3-button?
You would have to press start. Yeah, to switch to puncher.
That is so dumb. Sorry. that is dumb. Sorry, my thing almost fell out. A big choice for me, I think a really good one, would be Strider on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah. That's super fun. More arcade style than the
Nintendo version.
Right, the Nintendo version went with, I guess, more story adventure.
And I guess there was a community of people, which I didn't know about. I found this out again being on YouTube. You find out a lot about the community. There's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, that game sucks on the Genesis." I'm like, "Really? What? I never got that." Yeah, I used to get like a lot of hate when I talked good on it in a video.
No, yeah, it's super fun. Yeah, I went through it. I bought a complete box copy a few years back.
I have a complete box copy right back there.
Yeah, and I had a good time with it. I bought a book on different versions of Strider.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I saw it at a convention.
Russ. Hurry, the timer's running out. Wow. That's it. Oh, sorry. Next one.
I can't find it. I did find my Killer Instinct book, though.
Oh, hey! 10 minutes later. All right, Russ, you're up next, bro.
I also added NBA Jam on there.
One of my favorite.
A fun sports game, over-the-top basketball. Definitely fun to play with a friend.
Yeah. So what we were saying a minute ago, we were speaking on, how the game feels like a Sega game. It has that Sega feel. For me, I would say if you're going to play this game and you play it on the Sega, it feels at home with the Sega Genesis, but Primal Rage.
Oh, okay. Yep. Little dinosaur fighting game.
And is it a good game? No, but for some reason, just being on the Sega Genesis, it's kind of brutal. It's kind of rough. It's kind of raw. It just fits well with the Sega Genesis feel, in my opinion.
Right.
And I guess when you're a kid too, you're dinosaurs fighting. I mean, could there be anything cooler when you were a kid?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the box art, it's definitely going to grab your attention, and you're probably thinking, "Oh, Sega is a little bit more edgier. Maybe it's going to be better on the Sega Genesis."
Yeah, I loved it as a kid, and again, as an adult, it's not the greatest game, but it feels good and fits at home with Sega, in my opinion.
Nice. I'm going to take it back a little bit to a fun platformer game. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this one, but Quackshot.
Ooh, that is
with Donald Duck, starring Donald Duck.
Starring it. And there's another one, Cold Shadow Mally Mallard. There's a couple Donald Duck games on the Genesis, and they're all great.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, this one's exploration, and you're traveling around to different parts of the world, going to,
Is it a plunger? You use a plunger?
Yeah, he shoots a plunger that sticks to the enemies, and then you upgrade your plunger where it can stick to a wall, and you can climb up to get access.
You do the same thing in Darkwing Duck on the Nintendo.
Yeah, he does have plunger gun, too.
What's up with the ducks, bro? They got plunger guns. That's their method of fighting. Yeah, they're too triggered by the shotgun because of all their comrades that go down from people duck shooting.
Must be.
Yeah, here's a good one. I think a really good one. Again, going with Sega. This feels so Sega, but Splatterhouse 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah, those. I totally forgot about Splatterhouse. Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of blasted through a list of I just typed in on Wikipedia a list of every Sega game and just flipped. And when I'd see a game that stuck to me as a Sega game, Splatterhouse. I mean, obviously now not much to look at as far as being gory, but back in the day, it's the kind of stuff where if it got word to the public or to your parents or whatnot, it's definitely one of those head scratchers. Like, whoa, this is pushing the limits. Kind of like
I mean, you're getting a shotgun and shooting people, a 2x4 and.
2x4s against the wall in the back, I mean, gosh, it was, and even just the level layout. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, you find a gross enemy here and there. I mean, the whole levels are pretty gross. It looks like you're in intestines and all this stuff. And, it's the kind of game where if your parents saw it, they'd say, hey, time to go to church.
I'll go on the lighter side. Kid Chameleon. That's a fun platformer game. Again, almost similar to Little Nemo there, where you can kind of get the abilities of other characters in the game.
Funny enough, because I think in Little Nemo, you can turn into a chameleon.
The tiny little one, that walks up the...
Or maybe that's a salamander. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
It might be a salamander. I don't know. Who walks on walls?
Salamander Kid. Yeah.
But Kid Chameleon, it just, the box art stands out so much to me seeing him on there. He's got that, leather jacket, looking cool. You're like, okay, Sega's cool and edgy. This game's got to be cool.
Yeah, he definitely looks cool. I mean, that's what Sega always did right. They were cool. And it just had that vibe and appeal of it. With we didn't mention Sonic, by the way, but yes, Sonic the Hedgehog. Even though I'm not the biggest Sonic guy, Sonic has more love than half of the characters out there.
Grab Sonic 2, so you got Tails.
Sonic and Knuckles, if you want the Nuckles.
Right.
For me, I'm going to pick a big staple, which I mentioned earlier talking about Knights of the Round, but Golden Axe it's basic. It's not going to blow your mind graphically or visually, but it just works. It's like I almost don't even know how to explain it, but it just works when I play it. If someone was like, why are the graphics good? I'd be like, well, not that great. Is the music good? Well, not that good. Does the game play well? Not that well. But for some reason, the game's fun, and it works.
Yeah,
it just works. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun beat-em-up style game for sure.
Yeah.
Sit down on the couch and have a good time with it.
Yeah. What else, Russ? What else you got?
I added, it was on my Super Nintendo list, but it does play a little bit different on Sega. Batman Returns on there as well.
Have I even played it on the Genesis?
Yeah, it's slightly different. A little bit harder, I would say, but...
I feel like I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. Yep, I made sure to get it on all the systems. Pick it up and be a Batman fan.
Nice, dude. That's awesome.
But I would say I probably have more beat-em-up style games on the Sega Genesis than I do for Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I feel like they were heavy on that aspect of it.
Yeah. There's some of the big hitters, which I know we're running a long time. Our timer's almost up, literally. For our Zoom time limit, if people are wondering why. Like the Rystar games, the Rocket Knight Adventures.
Right.
They just have so many great awesome... What was it? Awesome... No, there was a different one. There's another one. There's a few with what are they called? Anthropomorphic mammals or something? What's the word for that?
Bubsy.
But hey...
I think you were right, anthropomorphic.
I don't really hate Bubsy games, right? Except the 3D whatever one was, Polygon Crap World is what it was called, but the rest I liked. I even like that game Zool.
Yep.
Where you play as the little guy, Arrow the Acrobat. I love that game.
That's a great game as well.
Yeah, man, I love it. So, but I'm out. Well, I'm not out of games. I could go on for hours, but as far as what I wrote down,
right?
How about
you? The only other one. Let's see. Did we mention NBA Jam? I know we mentioned it in...
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Quackshot, Decap. Yeah, that was my list. Yeah. Sonic is on there.
We're at 44 minutes and 20 seconds, and it's supposed to end at 45.
Perfect.
This thing's about to shut us off, Russ. Yeah.
Well,
let us know. Yeah. What are the must-have games, the go-tos, the cool? You're a loser if you don't know these games.
What's your core collection?
Core collection. Why you're not a real gamer. Just trying to figure out the title.
We'll figure that out. You guys already know it.
Yeah. So, all right, Russ.
Sweet. Been great chat and riff. Guys, hit that subscribe button and thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And as always,
wait, gotta get my mug.
Get your mug.
All right.
Keep your world fun, bit by bit.